Hi guys, my name is Nikolai Yusupov. In this video I want to show you how I like to mount my equipment for critical care transport. And here I'm showing you if you have that patient that has, let's say, 6 drips going, right, ventilator, A-line, right, how do you mount so that you have good transport, right, everything is efficient. So first, right, we have a different video showing how to mount this defibrillator platform with this monitor. So usually I have this in this configuration. If I had an A-line, I usually place this here, right? Now, my pumps, I usually do not like to mount on this pole if I do have a short board. But here you have a short board, and I'll show you how I will mount my two IV pumps. So what I usually do is I have the short board and I put it in this position. Right? You want to make sure this part is a little bit higher so you're still able to adjust. And one other very important thing before I secure it, you wanna make sure before you do this you lower it so if you're able to lower it, it doesn't make contact with the captain's chair. Why? Because if the patient goes in cardiac arrest and I need to do compressions, I need to be able to lower it, and this provides a firm surface so that when you're doing your compressions, right, you have a firm surface under the patient's back. So now that I have the clearance, right, I lift this up. I usually take tape. I'm not going to make a lot of rolls because just for the demo, but when I am doing the job, I will make sure it's secured, right? So what I would do is I'll come over here, right, and I would go around this. I would go around this a few times. So I'll do it once here, but I'll do it at the top and the bottom, right? So that it's firmly in place, right? So now that we have our short board secured, so you have tape, do a couple of rotations, right? So it's nice, snug, right? Once it's here, my pumps are mounted like so. So I'll show you. So I take my first pump, and it's going to be right there. My second pump, and it's going to be right here. Now you'll say, okay, what's the purpose of you having this pump in this position? I'll explain to you right now, right? So imagine you have the following patient. You have a patient who has 3 pressors going. Let's say they have levofed, they have epinephrine, they have norepinephrine, right? When you take that patient, none of these pumps tell us how much battery they actually have, right? And if they were not charging in the back, you place somebody like that, right, with 3 presses running, and the pump turns off, you basically have no way of infusing drugs. Or the other problem is you have to gravity flow this, right? You have to basically do the entire mouth to calculate the flow rates. So for that reason, and that reason alone, whenever the patient is in the back, everything gets plugged in. You notice, right, my charger is already plugged into the wall, right? And you want to have 2 chargers, right? And what I do is this particular charger is very important, is intact. And you notice this red dot is at 12 o'clock position, right? 12 o'clock. These pins, right, at the 6 o'clock position. So when we insert this is done very gently, right? There's 4 pins inside. You don't want to damage them. So red dot to the top. And I'm going to actually come on this side and focus on this pump so that you can see, right? So when you are securing it, right? Yep, it's this one. When you're securing it, can you focus on this? So I'm going to open this latch, right? Can you see it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This red dot, 12 o'clock position, right? And then you want to put it very, very gently. So don't like jam this in. If you jam this in, you're going to break this pump. And you want to be very careful. Right? The green light indicator is on, right? So, and this red dot is at 12 o'clock position. When you take this out, do not grab it from the cord end. Grab it right here. Right? So one more time, right? We come in, 12 o'clock position. Green light indicators on, do not grab it from here. We're going to come out from the side. So usually, right, and same thing for this pump, right? right? 12 o'clock position is charging. So if you could see, right, when my pumps are running, right, turn them on for a second. So when my pumps are running, right, they'll be connected to my power outlet, and I'll have my drugs pre-labeled, right, so everything's here. And the reason why I like this configuration is this, right? So let's say you're doing a transport, right, and you notice patient went into VFib, VTAC, you check the pulse, right, there's no pulse, right, you initiate compressions. At this point it's very easy. What I do is I lower this down gently like that, and then I'm right here, right, doing my CPR. If you're running sedation, right, you could turn this off. If you're running pressors, BP was low, right, you could run your pressors. So this is my configuration for the pump setup, bilateral pump setup. And I also want to show you, right, while we're here, I want to show you how to set up the vent. Right, I'm going to bring this up for a moment. I want to disconnect this. Again, don't grab it from this side, grab it from the metal portion. Right, gently out. So turn them off. So here you notice, right, I have my O2 tank at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I usually place my ventilator right on top like this. And this is the high pressure oxygen hose, right? So during your transfers, right, you are connected here. You are connected right there. Once you get the patient into the ambulance, right, you're going to take him off your portable and you go to your main tank. So you have ease of accessibility for the oxygen. Another important thing is if you come on this side, have a seat right here. I want to show some stuff. The other important reason is that where my partner is sitting is where I'm sitting. So have a seat, right? And you notice, right, the readouts that are here. So I'm going to turn on the ventilator. And we're going to say same patient. Just for the demonstration purposes, I'm going to mute my limits and alarms. So you notice, right, it says disconnect, right, this sense, right, and something is blinking, right, oxygen source or anything like that. And when I'm sitting there, I want to see when it's beeping and what's the alarm and what's the limit that's triggered. I'm able to see it from this position, right, and I'm able to make the corrections. So if it's circuit disconnect, I'm going from the patient and tracing back, right, you know what's going on. A good mnemonic to use is DOPE. Displacement, obstruction, pneumothorax equipment. So displacement, right, this connection, right, I look at the tube, at the circuit, and I look at my connections. Right, obstruction, you'll have high limit alarm. That's usually kinks, maybe bronchospasm, secretions, patient is coughing, right? And then you have pneumothorax, right? Pneumothorax, you will have increased peak inspiratory pressure, and I showed you in a different video where you do the inspiratory hold, it's this button, right? So the inspiratory hold button, right? And when you press it, right, you will have inspiratory hold, you will run it, and it will tell you increased plateau pressure. Check your lung sounds. If you have diminished or absent lung sounds on the affected side, maybe it's pneumothorax. And then E, right, is the equipment failure. So if you have equipment failure, very important thing, what you want to have connected to this, I want to show you right now. And here, I have an adult BVM, right? And I want to show you when you take this, right? So I always take, I'm not going to open this bag, right? But I always take the adult BVM. Actually, you know what? I'll show you. This is so important. You guys, you must be doing this. So I usually take the BVM from the hospital that the patient was either using, right? And what I like to do is this. So let's say patient is intubated, right? Sometimes you may have, right, tube dislodgement. So what I usually do is I take my mask and I run it, the hose underneath it. And I always keep the mask quiet because if you have tube displacement, right, you may need to ventilate with the mask. And if you forgot the mask, you pretty much have no device. So I run my mask like this underneath, and then this portion of the O2 I connect here, right? So this is connected to my regulator, and what I do is I leave the mask right there. So this is connected to my oxygen, and this is running underneath. And you'll say, well, why do I do that, right? And the reason why I do this is, A, patient may go in cardiac arrest, so I disconnect the ventilator, I have my BVM already ready to go. Another thing, if you have tube dislodgement, right, you're ready to go in case you need to ventilate. Or if you're trying to troubleshoot your ventilator, you have some alarms, I disconnect my ventilator and I use my BVM to see, do I have good compliance, right? Do I have a good chest rise and so forth. So usually this is how I keep my ventilator with my readouts, and BVM is always connected, right, to this oxygen, right, for the remainder of the transport. And I'll take it with me to the floor, right, when I go up to the patient, right? So this is very important, right? Make sure your chargers, right, are all plugged in. All your things that needs to be charged are charging, right? This ventilator, right, has a good battery pack, but if you wanted to charge during transport, right, you could definitely plug this in. We have our AC power right here, and it will be plugged in right there, right? But this battery, right, will be good enough to power you through the entire transport. But the pumps, because we have no indicators like these lights, pumps must be plugged in for that. What else I wanted to show? Right, so the pole, right? So the pole here, in case if you had to the point where you had an additional pump, right? Let's say you had to use 3 pumps, only then will I start deploying this pole. Otherwise, this will be only for your A line, right? Your A line, right? Pressure bag, and then go into the patient. So this is the entire configuration how I would have my patient set up and doing the transport.